forgot to press the record button. So we are going to go over on those three things. Factoring, use factoring to solve for x-intercept, and use quadratic formula to find x-intercept. Okay, so let's begin. And I'm gonna just have you guys work on it as though you're, let's say, taking a quiz right now. Again, this is not a quiz, but let's say if you can do all those covers those three topics on your effort, okay? And if you can't, then that means that you know there are things to work on, right? So number one, I'd like you to factor it. Okay? I'll give you a minute to work on that. Hey, Janet, good morning. We are working on number one. We are just reviewing today. No new materials. I'd like you to go over on number one right now. So this is not an assignment. I don't know if anybody is wondering about that. We will not have any assignment today. We'll just do a review. Just try to participate, okay? And then that'll be it. All right, it's been a minute. Were you able to factor that? Number one? How did it go? Do you have the steps all establishing in you? Do you know how to go about factoring? Yeah. So let's begin. The first step of a factoring is, you take a look on that one, right? Actually, you know what? Let me take a moment to, this is a completely different, will be a different solution. Again, I would like you to remember that, well, factoring is the opposite reverse process of distributing, okay? When you distribute, you go x times x, right? And you get x squared, right? And then you get negative 5x, and then you get 3x, and that combined is negative 2x. This is a completely different problem, by the way, okay? And then 3 times negative 5 is negative 15, isn't it? Right? And so you notice that this x squared came from this x times x, right? That's it. And so, and then you know that this last number, negative 15, came from this 3 times negative 5, right? 3 times negative 5 is negative 15. X times x is x squared. You get that? But the middle term is coming from adding two different things, this negative 5x and 3x, and then you get negative 2x, right? So just keep that in mind. How do you get x squared? And there is only one possibility in this case. It's x and x, right? And then you're going to skip the middle, but you're going to ask yourself, what times what gives me negative 12? Okay. And that will be, there are lots of possibilities. For example, 1 times 12 will give you 12. 2 times 6 will give you 12. 3 times 4 will give you 12. But you want to try the combination that are close to each other, such as 3 and 4. So I'm just going to do 3 and 4. Then you're going to do the donuts, right? 3x and 4x. And if you add them together, you should be getting that middle negative 1x. Now, how do you get negative 1x? Well, if this 4x is negative, 3x is positive, doesn't that give you negative 1x, right? So here it is. 4 has to be negative. 3 has to be positive. Okay? So that's the routine, and you need to have that in your mind, the steps that you have to follow to complete the factoring process. Okay, let's do number 2, or maybe some of you are already working on it, maybe finished. But let me give you 1 minute. Okay. Am I talking too much? Maybe. Are you guys doing okay on that? Yeah. Very good. Would you guys would you share your solution if you're done with number 2? Okay. Yeah, that's right. Absolutely, Gentry. Now, more you do this, you're starting to kind of figure out your own, what do you call a niche, your uh, trick, the way to do. I mean, I don't write all of those because I've done so many times that I can kind of see which number. I don't list out all the combinations because I can kind of see ahead what's going to happen, right? And so just try to find a good, efficient way for you that will work to make it a little more efficient and run smoothly. Yeah. So you don't have to do the donuts if you can kind of work it out. Right? Or you can even write down, okay, 3x and negative 4x. Okay, how do I make 12x or negative 1x? And then you can just kind of do that on the side. Right? So you don't have to. But in your mind, you should be doing that. Okay. So the first step, 3x squared, you get that by 3x and x. Right? Next step, you're going to skip the middle, but you're going to look at the last number, negative 1. What times what gives you 1? There's only one possibility. It's 1 times 1. Okay? So it has to be 1 and 1 in this case. Does that? Now, let's check the donuts to figure out the sign. One of them needs to be negative. One of them needs to be positive. Okay? So let's check. It's 1x. 3x. What is this? Factorable. This is not factorable. Why did I do that? Maybe I need to change. Okay. How did you guys do? Were you able to factor this? Am I missing something? Yeah, it's not 15, right? If it's 1, now if you make both of them negative, it will become negative 4x. However, you've got problem here because do you guys see what is the problem here? What's wrong with this? My answer. My answer is, let's say 3x minus 1 and x minus 1. There's something is not right. What is that? Can somebody tell me? What's wrong with my answer? Very good. Thing that is wrong is this. Even though, yes, I managed to create negative 4x because negative 1x plus negative 3x, that's negative 4. But is negative 1 times negative 1, does that give you negative 1? No, it doesn't. It's a positive 1, isn't it? Right. And so, in other words, this is not actually a factorable. You can't factor it. And then I asked you to factor it. Right? So maybe for the future, this needs to be positive. So if this is a positive 1, then this will be the answer. All right. I'm sorry. So that's my bad. Okay. Okay, that's it. Very good. Let's move on. Number 3. Yeah, so this should have been positive. I need to change that. Why can I not write it? Plus 1. Okay, now it's fixed. All right, number 3. I want you to find x and y intercept by using factoring, okay? Let's find x-intercept first. And then y-intercept over here. One minute. How did it go? Do you know what to do? Everybody answer this question. This is very important, okay? How do you find x-intercept in general? if your next teacher, professor asks you, hey, how do you find x-intercept and y-intercept? What would you say for any functions, whether it's quadratic or linear or any equations? You're going to set y to 0. Will you be able to remember that? It's very important, okay? To find x-intercept, you're going to set y to 0. And to find y-intercept, you're going to set x to 0. Okay? So let's do exactly that. You're going to set y to 0. So this y will turn into 0. 0 equals x squared plus x minus 20. I know this step may seem unnecessary to you, but it's very important. Conceptual wise, you set y to 0, and then you're solving for x, okay? And so now you factor that. This will definitely be, again, x and x. And then negative 20 will be, what is it, 4 times 5? I think I'm going to go forward with 4 and 5 because I'm already thinking ahead. 4 and 5. And then you've got 4x and 5x. And I want to get positive 1x. How do I get positive 1x if I add 4x and 5x? Well, you can make it into 1x by 4x being negative 4x and the 5x being positive 5x, right? And yeah, thank you. Doesn't that give you 1x, positive 1x? So 4 will be negative, 5 will be positive. Okay. I'm going to erase that. Donuts. Now I want to eat donuts. Maybe I'll go to Roth to get donuts or something. So now we are not quite done yet. We just factored it, right? Now what do we do next? Now we're going to solve it, right? You're going to set each parentheses equal to 0. Remember that? In this case, the answer is going to be 4 and negative 5, but so in that case, you don't really need to do this process, but what exactly is happening is you set each parentheses. First one is x minus 4 and set it equal to 0. And then you're going to solve for x by adding 4 on both sides. So you get x equals 4. Okay. And if you do the same, you're going to get x equals negative 5. Okay. So the solution is 4 and negative 5. Or if you want to answer in coordinate, it will be 4, 0, and negative 5, 0. Okay, so those are the coordinates for x-intercepts. And what is the y-intercept? You don't have to do anything, right? Is everybody okay on that? If you set x to 0, if all the x turns into 0, what do you have left? You're just left with the last number, negative 20, right? So the y-intercept is, you don't have to write anything. It's just negative 20, okay? Or 0, negative 20, okay? Now, I have one more thing that I would like to ask you to do on number 3. Can you sketch a parabola? Can you sketch a U shape by locating x and y intercepts? What does it look like? it's a rough sketch. It's not going to be accurate, but at least you can use three x-intercept, two x-intercepts, one y-intercept that we've found, right? So so I want you to sketch that. So x-intercept is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 right here, right? 4, 0. That's right there. So the parabola is going to go through that. Another x-intercept is negative 5, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 5, right there. So these are the x-intercepts. And the y-intercept is negative 20. I'm not going to do 20. So I'll just say this is negative 20. Right there. And so do you see a U shape that will go through all those 3 points? Okay. So, something like that. Now, okay. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, here's the last question, guys. And we're done, okay? Number 4. I want you to find x-intercept by using quadratic formula. You guys have a quadratic formula in your notes? I'll give you 1 minute. Okay. Right, so it's been a minute. How did it go? Would you share your solution? What did you get for x-intercept? Still maybe working on it? Who needs more time? Okay. Somebody has the solution. Anybody else? Okay, so for those who, I don't know, are there anybody missing the quadratic formula? Quadratic formula is to find x-intercept. Okay, so please remember that. Then it goes negative b plus minus square root b squared. Okay, very good. Excellent. Anybody else? Minus 4ac over 2a. Okay, so let's try that. You have to have this in your notes, okay? Make sure you do have that. And let's identify what A, B, and C is. Okay, it's very important that you do that. A is 3, B is negative 4. Okay, the sign always belongs to the number on the right. And then C is negative 2. Okay, so x-intercept is going to be, now when I say negative b right here, it means think of it as opposite of b, opposite sign of b. That's what that means, okay? So b, since b is already negative 4, the opposite sign will be positive 4. Yeah, is everybody okay on that? So it will be positive 4 plus minus negative 4 squared. You see, I put that in parentheses, minus 4ac over 2 times 3. Okay, let's just take one step at a time. Now, this negative 4 squared, when you square a number, it's always going to be positive, yeah? Because negative 4 times negative 4 is a positive 16, isn't it? Okay. Now, one thing about, I've seen so many times the mistakes from students. You use a calculator, right? So you go negative 4 squared. Has anybody typed like this? Right? Isn't that what you want to do? Yeah, you got negative 4 squared and then press enter and you get negative 16. Now, what did I do wrong on this? Somebody please tell me, what did I do wrong? I wanted to square negative 4. So I pressed negative 4 squared and I got negative 16. What's wrong with it? Yeah, it is negative 4 quantity squared, isn't it? In other words, you have to put parentheses. Calculator don't do that, okay? So you have to press negative 4 squared in parentheses. Then that's a positive 16, okay? So that's an easy mistake to make. And I've seen that so many times, okay? So it will be positive 16. And then I asked you guys to do this negative 4 times 3 times negative 2. Just include this negative sign. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. Negative 12 times negative 2 is positive 24. So positive 24. So your answer is going to be square root of 40, okay, over 6. And then let's find the decimal value for that, okay? And to do that, if you have forgotten, that's why there are two signs, plus and minus. One solution, first solution will take the positive, so 4 plus square root of 40 divided by 6. And you do that. Let's actually do that. 4 plus square root of 40. And I usually press enter then, and then divide by 6. And I get 1.7, okay? 1.72, let's say. And the other solution is 4 minus square root of 40 over 6. Divide by 6, and I get negative 0.39. Yeah, negative 0.4, that's great. Okay, negative 0.39, that's great. And that's it. Those are the x-intercept. You can, if you want to answer that in coordinate, it's going to be 1.72 and 0, negative 0.39 and 0. Okay, so these are the x-intercept. Okay, and then y-intercept. Again, you don't have to do anything, right? Well, you have to do something to get y-intercept, but you plug 0 into x. And if you do that, if you put 0 in x, that becomes 0, that becomes 0. So you're left with negative 2. So y equals negative 2 or 0, negative 2. Okay. Again, let's graph this. Can we do that? Just this is the last task. Would you locate those three things, intercepts, and then I want you to see if you can connect those three dots with a U shape. So the first x-intercept is 1.7. That's somewhere around here, right? That's 1.7. The other one is negative 0.4. It's like right here. And then y-intercept is negative 2. And so if you try to draw the U shape, y-intercept is not going to be the lowest point. You guys know that, yeah? So it will probably be something like this. It's not a very pretty, perfect parabola. But it's going to be something like that. Okay, let me show you. 3x squared plus x minus minus 4x minus 2. So here it is. It's not very... Well, if we are in classroom, if I used to have a classroom set of a graphing calculator, and we definitely would spend a little time to use a graphing calculator to graph, and we will maybe spend a little bit more time later on of using graphing calculator, but okay. So that's it. So these are the three things that we've done for the past 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And I would like you to make sure that you know how to do that. First, factoring. Okay, that's what we did on Tuesday. And then we did use a factoring to find x-intercept. Right? And then we learned to use quadratic formula to find x-intercept. Okay, so those three things. Just to look ahead. So what do we have left? Well, there's a couple more things that we have left to do. And one of them is another critical point in parabola is its this location right here, the very bottom of the parabola. Okay. And what's that called? It's called a vertex. And we need to be able to find a vertex. When I ask you to find vertex, what does that mean? Well, you are looking for x and y coordinate because a vertex is a point. Now, how do you express a point? By coordinate. Okay. And we will learn how to find a vertex on Tuesday. Okay. So that's what's happening next week. And then we will wrap it up. We'll do some review. And then next week, Friday, we will take this unit test. Okay. Every 2 weeks, we will finish a unit. Okay. And so, again, next Friday, we will, next week, we will wrap this up and then we'll take a test on Friday. Okay. So this is why I will stop. I know we are still early, but I will stick around. If you do need any help on those 3 things that we've just talked about, or anything else for your assignments, or even for Unit 1, okay, if you would like to go over and retake Unit 1 test, if you did poorly, or maybe if you haven't taken Unit 1 test, but it has been so long and that you would like to just review a little bit, please stay in class and then we will go over. Okay? Anything that you would like to talk about, I will help you. Okay? So, with that, you guys have a great weekend and I will see you guys on possibly on Monday if you would like to have need any help. Otherwise, I will see you guys on Tuesday. Okay? Take care, guys. All right. Thank you, guys. Have a good weekend.